Hi everyone, I'm Benjamin Bryant from Bryant McKinnon Lawyers in Coffs Harbour, and this is Heather McKinnon. Hello Heather.
Good morning Ben.
Excellent. We're here to launch episode 55 of the Family Matters Show, a podcast that we do. Episode 55, Heather, we spoke about silver divorce or grey separation. I'm clearly too young to know anything about that. But what I did learn was, although the divorce rate is going down, out of the couples that are divorcing, the rate of people in their 50s is actually going up, which I thought was really interesting. Why do you think that's happening?
Look, the sociologists are giving us lots of ideas. One of them is that we're just living a long time, and people, once they've raised their children, reassess their relationship. There's also the pressures of life over decades.
And people try and do a career first and then have kids later, and then so the timeline gets pushed back as well.
Health plays a role. One party's fit, the other one gets some sort of illness, and all sorts of things that impact once you get into your 50s and 60s.
And when you get to that age bracket and you're going through a separation, there's some unique complexities. For example, superannuation's one. When you're young, people are like, who cares? It's like forced savings that's just pushed off into the ether. But when you're actually almost able to access it, or indeed you are accessing it, it can be very difficult. Yeah,
really. It's an interesting sort of structural problem, and Parliament's assessing it again at the moment. They're looking at doing family superannuation accounts rather than in people's individual names, because we realise that the person who takes time out of the workforce to raise kids is at a real disadvantage at that time of separation. Accessing age pension, who gets what, what you're doing with your kids. Heaps of people lend kids money.
Or go as guarantor on their loans.
And then they shortchange themselves because they've guaranteed the kids' loan. They can't borrow enough money to rehouse themselves. So, it's a minefield.
And also, we discuss, as we do on most of our property episodes, the contributions assessment, identifying the assets and how they got there is what we just spoke about. But also it can get very complex. And that third step, the future needs step, so when the court's looking or the lawyers are looking in their crystal ball about what the future may look like, it's very difficult to get the crystal ball out to see what's going to happen, to see if there's any chronic health difficulties, if someone's sailing off into the sunset somewhere. It can be very hard.
And at the moment we're seeing a lot of restructuring industry with AI and things, so people who are, say, 55, who thought they had another 10 to 15 years to put aside retirement savings, find they've got no job. And then we have to assess what's their employability. Are they likely to be able to re-enter the workforce? So, we've got to be across the economy, across what's happening with health, with estate planning. Our job's not easy some days.
So if you're over 50 and separating, this is the episode for you, episode 55 of the Family Matters Show podcast, where you can get wherever you get your podcasts or at bryantmckinnon.com.au.